Nick Benjamin and Andy Waterfield.
Okay, just listen for a minute.
Yeah, I'm listening.
It's very quiet, isn't it?
It is.
You're going to do it like that?
Let's do
It's funny speaking voice.
I haven't done any speaking for a long time.
Supermarket announcer, that stupid woman on the train. We're in the middle of Manchester, you wouldn't believe it, and we're having a little trip to Manchester, and then we're going to go to Blackpool for the day.
You're insistent on going to Blackpool, aren't you?
I want to go to Blackpool. I want to play the stupid 2p machines.
Yeah.
And go down the pier and have some chips.
Is it not tacky, though?
Yeah, it's very tacky, but it's also a nice trip out. I think it's all right to go for a day. Don't think I'd want to stay there. I did stay in a guest house in Blackpool many years ago, and it was hot and cold, running water down the walls.
Well, they did offer hot and cold.
Well, they certainly did. Actually, no, I have to say it was all right.
It's a shame you don't want to stay there, because I've booked you in for a week.
Oh, well, when?
Starting tomorrow.
Oh, well, fine. Off you go then. I'll have a nice time. So, yeah.
So we're in Manchester. We're outside the Manchester Art and Craft Centre.
Well, let's be correct here. The Manchester Craft and Design Centre.
Oh, okay.
Which is a lovely old building. What was it?
It used to be a fish market, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Gosh. It's very nice. It's been restored. And there's lots of art studios in there.
Lots of units.
Yes. Some of the artwork in there is amazing. Some is unique. Mm-hmm. And some of it is hideously overpriced, isn't it?
It is.
That one picture we saw, which would make a lovely picture on the wall for a nice big wall, but was £1,000. And I'm not paying £1,000 for any kind of artwork.
Thing. What price art?
Well, not £1,000. I noticed they've got a display of things that are happening in the local area. I noticed that Jimmy Carr's doing a turn in September.
That's not to come
yeah, I mean, awful, absolutely dreadful. There's some other really good things going on, and there's a little coffee shop outside, which is quite nice. It's in a very strange part of town, in the Northern Quarter, which years ago, when I first started coming to Manchester, you wouldn't go to the Northern Quarter.
No.
And now I can't afford to live in the Northern Quarter.
I used to work in the Northern Quarter. It's really strange. I used to work on Dale Street, and it used to be an old factory and warehouse for clothing, and then it became a catalogue company, and it relocated. And what's really strange is the very place I used to work in is now posh flats.
Oh.
And that's only in a matter of 15 years.
And they are expensive. That's
Very
the thing.
expensive.
We were looking in a window yesterday, and you can get a flat around here for £500,000, whereas you wouldn't come here. You really wouldn't want to come here, but it's gone through a huge period of change, and it's actually really nice. It's the things you get around here which are interesting, the shops you get.
So we're in the Northern Quarter, aren't we, in Manchester?
Yeah, now look at this one.
Yeah.
You introduced me to this one.
Well, this is one of my favourite shops, actually. It's called Clark Brothers, and what's fun about it is it's all about shop fittings, and normally you think, well, that's quite dull, but this is the most outrageous stuff possible. It's oversized flowers, a turtle, butterfly. And I suppose the idea is, if you think back to old-fashioned shop windows, this is an example of it, but this is for you to actually go and buy and fit out your own shop.
And I suppose if you were doing the inside of somewhere and you wanted it to be a little bit different, you could buy all your stuff from here.
It's very kitsch, I think the phrase
really is kitsch. It's the next window that gets me.
Oh, what's in the next window?
Yeah. Your point of sale stuff.
Oh, well, like tickets and things, yeah.
The bubble wrap, okay, but
Yeah.
then you get all those sale things. I've always wondered where you buy these sale
this is it.
vouchers from.
But these are
and even the things that put you the size on the hangers on the clothes.
Like size 14, size 16. No. What's also slightly strange about it is that they're oldie sort of worldy, aren't they? They're sort of like 70s and 80s
you don't
style.
see this stuff. Pegboards.
Yeah. Now pegboards have come back.
Yeah, they're really in at the moment.
Pegboards.
A date stamp, price guns. Who uses price guns now? It's all beep beep, isn't it?
Exactly.
Sales stickers, and over here.
Yeah.
Look, if you're taking 2 or 3 items into the changing room,
you know they give you a number, don't they?
Yeah. Or the some of these things have sort of faded a bit because they have been in the window for a long time, but it doesn't detract from it at all. A price list, that looks like a chippy or a barber's price list.
And you write it on yourself. Last time I was in Manchester, I actually bought a couple of things from here.
Oh, yes.
And I brought some for you, and you still use them at home, and they're food order pads.
Food order
you go
pads,
to old-fashioned cafes, and they write down what you want. So 2 burgers, 1 chips, and a salad. And
Do they
2
have fake
colas.
fruit in here?
No, I think that's the shop next door.
What, for the fake fruit?
I think so.
Well, also you've got here the gun to take the security tag
Oh,
closed.
right,
you could buy
okay.
that and just go and hope yourself.
No,
I'm not.
don't encourage that. That's
The other
terrible.
thing that was great is round the corner from here is the vegetarian...
Vegan.
Vegan hot dog and burger place, which I walked past and I thought, it's very empty. But no, the next window down was their eat-in bit, and it was absolutely full. Everything in there was vegan-friendly, so you've got burgers and hot dogs. It looked great fun, didn't it?
And we might have to pop in.
Yeah,
we've got a few days here, so we
one.
might have to pop back there, actually.
Do you want a raffle ticket book?
Well, they're always quite useful to have, aren't they?
A marker pen.
There's everything in here. There's also all the spare letters. So if you do buy a pegboard and you haven't got enough letters, you can buy for £35 a whole set of extra letters.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, there's extra letters in there. Look.
Interlock changeable price ticketing system.
It makes it sound very modern, but actually it's really old. And there's a picture of what you can set up your shop to look like, which is quite old-fashioned.
Supplied complete with a kit of 550 assorted characters. And look at the picture. It's so old. It's got a rotary telephone and there's like a bowl of fake fruit as well.
Yeah, and a bottle of that Portuguese wine.
Yeah. Changeable price ticketing system. That's such a complicated way of saying pegboard, isn't it?
I don't know if they just buy in this stock because it's kitsch and it sells, or if they've had this for a long time, because these look quite old, don't they? Genuinely quite old. Oh,
even the background with all this shiny glitter in the background is quite kitsch, isn't it?
Everything's quite kitsch about it. I'm glad to see it's still here though, and it's obviously doing well, and people know about it, and so this is where you go for your strange shop fitting supplies.
And down the road was the stationery shop, which has been here for about 150 years, with all the old photo booths in it. Yeah, that you can have a go with.
Aldous.
Yeah, that's been here for I don't know how long.
It has. It's been here for a long, long time. Right, let's move on then.
Now we're in Exchange Square. This has had a bit of a revamp recently. New tram stop. Behind us in this rather bizarre building, it's now the National Football Museum. As you can hear, it used to be the home of Channel M. Remember Channel M?
Yes, I didn't know that.
Channel M is a slightly different building. I think they've done a bit of a revamp, but that was the local television channel for Manchester years ago, before the idea about local TV really came on. And Andy Crane used to present on there.
Children's telly time.
Yeah, very cheap channel. For a lot of the time it was just radio being played out over it.
Oh, that's quite cool.
But yes, they started off with all sorts of ambitions and it didn't really work, and it scaled down to nothing and then closed down. It's a positive news story, isn't it?
National Football Museum.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a bizarre building. I think the building's been redeveloped and reshaped. But when you used to walk along here, you could see the local news studio. Behind us is Selfridges and other places, M&S, Next.
And they've also redeveloped the Corn Exchange, because that closed down for a while. That's a sort of upmarket shopping centre, isn't it?
Yeah, now we like to get out and have the local food delicacies of the area. So we've just been for a baked potato.
Yes.
In a rather soulless indoor shopping centre.
Yes, it was quite bleak, wasn't it? Everything about it. The potato was nice, but everything else was bleak. Now, we're on our way to Victoria Station, aren't we?
Yes, now Victoria Station, there's Piccadilly and Victoria, the two main stations in Manchester. Victoria gets forgotten about, but it's had a massive regeneration, and it's actually really, really nice. You can see it. You can see it just here.
Yeah.
It's wonderful inside. It's where a lot of the local trains go from.
And also the trams go from here as well. Yes. So we're going to jump on the tram, aren't we?
Yeah, we're going to have a little visit somewhere. It's all going on here, isn't it? If we can find the right tram, we're going to have a little visit.
I think we'll be able to find it. We just have to head on the Berry line.
What do you think about this water feature?
Yeah, it's one of those ones that children start paddling and piddling in the summertime, isn't it?
Nick Benjamin and Andy Waterfield.
So here we are at Manchester Victoria Station. There's something you want to show me in here, isn't there?
Yes, there's a map made out of tiles on the wall, which they put up when they built the place. And these are the locations that train services here used to run to, and in fact largely still do. You can still go to Bradford, Leeds, Hull, York, but they used to do sailings to all sorts of places on the continent, so Brugge, Calais, Antwerp, Rotterdam, Amsterdam from here, which is very interesting.
You can also go to Ramsey, Douglas, Belfast, Dublin and Llandudno.
Yeah.
That's not on the coast, is it? Well, it's on the coast, but it's not...
Well, you can get you get the boat.
Oh, really?
From places like Southport and Liverpool. You get the boat down originally. Yeah.
Oh,
but a lot of those places, certainly places like Belfast and Douglas, I think you still can't you?
Yeah.
But it's lovely. Look at this. And when they restored it, they kept this.
Would you like them to take these tiles down and put them up in your flat? Because you like heritage things in your flat.
A bit much for the bathroom, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's quite a lot.
It's quite tall, isn't
Lancashire and Yorkshire Railway. It's quite impressive. I'm going to take a snap of it, though.
You're going to take a snap?
Yeah, I think we should.
Also behind you is the old old-fashioned ticket window at Victoria Station.
Which they have kept.
And it's lovely because there's a little leaning post for you to lean on as you're ordering your ticket. Right, you take a snap of that, and I'm going to find out where we get our Metrolink from. Okay, I think it's this way. This has all been redeveloped since I was here many years ago. The Metrolink tram line has become a lot more significant, hasn't it? It's got a lot more branches.
I always find it odd when you have to walk across the tracks to get to the platform, as you do across the whole thing. There's something that says to me, you can't do that.
Well, it says there you're okay, but keep looking and listening.
Yeah.
I think you'll be all right.
And this new roof was put on, which has completely transformed the station. It was a very dirty, damp, nasty old place, and now it's bright and it's welcoming. Right, so we want trains to where?
Bury.
Oh, not Rochdale.
Bury.
Well, there's a stupid ticket machine down there.
Why is it a stupid ticket machine? I want to see if
it'll be chaotic, that's why.
Right, and let me tell you where you can go to.
Come on, let's go and get a ticket.
The Bury train's going to be a double. It says DBL on it, so you're going to be a double formation.
Right, here we go.
Go on then. Ah, welcome.
Where are we going?
We're going to Queen's Road.
Oh.
So I'll spell it for you. Q.
I can manage.
Well done. Yeah, adult return.
Well, that's quite expensive, isn't it?
It's all wrong. That's only buying one ticket. That's no use. How am I going to travel? Let's have a think about this.
Hang on, no, look. Let me do this again. Look.
Why don't you buy somewhere further away and then we get better value, won't we?
What do you mean? Well, we're not going up there, are we?
No, but just find out how much it is to further.
How much is it to further? Blimey.
Best of the barn. How much is that one?
£4.30.
No, we don't want to go that far, do we?
No, we'll just have to... This is a complete waste of money.
Well, do you want to walk it then? It's a good 15 minutes walk. It's Cheetham Hill Road. It's a long road. We're heading, if you're wondering, to the Transport Museum, aren't we? But it's quite a way out in the sticks at Cheetham Hill.
Well, yeah, but I suppose we could come back along here, can't we?
Well, we can go all the way back to our hotel.
Right, we're fine. Right, we're just over there.
Queen's Road, return, 2 adults. Bye. Now, do your diddly do. Oh, card details been checked. Sorry.
Well, someone's left their ticket in here, look. Well, there you go.
Very good. Right, we've got to wait for the next
5 minutes.
About 5 minutes.
And there goes the tram. So we are back in Manchester because we're not at the Transport Museum.
And how come we're not at the Transport Museum?
Well,
we bought our tickets, we made our journey out.
And we had a little walk from the tram stop and then it's closed.
Yes. Open Wednesdays, Saturdays, Sundays, but not today.
Not today. So we've come back into town. Bit of a shame because they've missed out on £4 there.
I feel a fool as well.
And...
well, you're not making me feel better.
So we're in St Peter's Square. And the last time we were here, this was a filthy mess, but it's been finished now. More tram stops, that's what it is, and more trams coming through. Here comes another one.
And a water feature here as well. What do you think of this?
It's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right. Central Library behind us. Lots of building work all the time. And not far from us is the old Manchester Central Station, which was closed down many years ago. And now there's a big conference exhibition and performance thing, isn't it?
It was called GMEX for a while. It's been all
was
sorts
that there?
of
Was that GMEX?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's been all sorts of different things. So there's lots... One of the things I'm finding about Manchester this time round, which I'm quite impressed by, is a lot more sitting down areas. Because lots of cities want to move you on and make you just go shopping. But here you can actually sit down quite comfortably in places, which is very good. So, so we're a bit disappointed. So we're going to spoil ourselves now by going to 8th Day, aren't we?
Yes, which is a vegan...
stroke vegetarian, stroke
type
whatever
thing.
Shop with
healthy living, organic,
and there's a
sustainable.
reason for going there because there's something you in particular like.
Well, I'm hoping they've still got their flapjacks,
which are sugar-free, aren't they?
Yeah, they look like they're fun-free when you buy them, and you look a bit suspicious about them, but actually they're really nice. So I hope we can have one of those.
Well, we arrived in Manchester last night. We popped to 8th Day for a nice meal. If you like vegan or vegetarian food, it's a good place to go to. We've always had good meals there.
That chickpea thing I had last night.
And we came up the stairs to go into the shop.
Closed.
The shutters were down.
There's a theme here, isn't it? Closed.
And your face was so long because you psyched yourself up for a flapjack.
Closed. One night of the week it's early closing, and that was it. We've come to the Museum of Science and Industry in Manchester. And we found ourselves in the textiles room, which is much more your thing. So you're going to have to tell me all about what is this?
Oh my goodness! There's nothing like an element of surprise. Well, this is, I think, this is what you call a spinning jenny. Now, I may be wrong, but it's full of shuttlecocks of cotton, and it basically went backwards and forwards and weaved into stretches of fabric. And it's, I don't remember this being here before, so I think this might be a new part, because I think it's had a refit recently.
I can't express enough how big it is.
It's huge, and there's all sorts of different elements to it. So there's lots of different sort of bobbins, I suppose is what you'd call them, and then they all go onto a bigger machine. And it starts off at this end with the wool or the cotton, and cotton everyone thinks is just thin pieces, but obviously it starts off as fluff, because cotton is actually fluff off a cotton plant. So it starts here, and then it's sort of weaved, as you see old-fashioned weavers do, but this is all done by machine. And I assume, looking at the equipment here, that they perhaps run this every now and again, so you can have a demonstration of it, because I think it'd be really noisy as well. It's one of those ones that people used to go deaf, didn't they, when they worked in the mills.
Is this a loom?
This is a loom, yeah. And you get some thin threads that are weaved together to make big panels of fabric. So I suppose at that end you would see huge stretches of fabric.
And they've got some fabric around, haven't they? All sorts of fabric going on.
Of course, Manchester was known for the cotton trade. That was one of its big exports. But there's some wonderful machines here. And lots of tourists as well, having a poke around.
There's an outside bit as well. What's that?
Well, it's the Museum of Science and Industry, this whole place. So outside you'll find a steam train and some other bits and pieces. I think we should go and have a look and see what's outside. So we've stepped outside at the Museum of Science and Industry in Manchester, and there's a little train here. You like Heritage Railways?
Something tells me this used to be an old rail warehouse.
I think you might be right. This says CEGB Bolton, so that CEGB is electricity, wasn't it?
Yes.
That would have been to do with moving coal around, I'd imagine, for electricity generation. A lot of this is guesswork on our part, because we've just turned up here an hour before closing time. We're just trying to take in as much of it as we can.
Like the cobbles on the floor.
Yes, does it remind you of Coronation Street?
Yes, which was
right next door.
Yes, in fact, if you look there, that building there, that's the old bonded warehouse, as they called it. And that was their principal studio complex.
Really?
For when they did a lot of dramas. And those buildings just there, the main old street studios.
Oh,
and that's the back of the houses. Watch out for these uneven floorboards. We're in an old warehouse.
We've come into this fantastic place that's really quiet. Hardly anyone around. Everyone's looking at all the fancy stuff. But we're here for the telephones and old technology, aren't we?
Yes, there's a telephone box in the middle of the room. But more interestingly, there's a whole display about television in the area. As you can hear, it's probably copyrighted, we'll just talk over that. And radio, so you've got a whole thing about Granada television, which you can hear in the background. We've got some, look at this television.
It's bright red, isn't it?
I mean, that was 1968, that one, made in Welwyn Garden City. Oh, that's quite local.
Isn't it funny that even though it's a black and white television, it's got a red surround just to say, look, here's some colour.
And above it, a video cassette recorder for a Video 2000. Did you have Video 2000?
No,
we could never afford it. It was very big. Next to it was something
This is the one I had.
Yeah, an ordinary VHS recorder. Early portable television. Look at the size of it.
Sega gaming machine.
Yeah, and over here is video editing equipment. I learned on one of those.
That's great, isn't it?
And that's a sound recorder. And a BSB square reel.
Did you ever have one of those?
No, but that was the one that, in the end, they gave up and it merged with Sky, and everybody who had one of those got a free Sky dish, didn't they? And there is a Sky dish next to it.
Yeah.
So, around it...
This is my favourite display item.
Now, this is great. This is an old vision mixer, which in telly, that cuts between the different pictures and the different cameras and the cameras outside on a live programme. And this one...
This is where you'd call the shots.
Yeah, so camera 3, camera 1, 2, 4...
And look at this mixer.
Should we pull the mixing lever so you want to fade the pictures together? There you go.
Lovely.
And this is actually from BBC North West. It was used on North West Tonight, the local news programme, for 20 years. And actually, they didn't stop using it until about 10 years ago.
Oh, they went digital then, didn't they?
Yeah, so, but, I mean, the thing is, though, it looks very old, but the principles behind it and all the symbols are exactly what you'd see on a modern version today. It's exactly the same.
Yeah.
And next to it, which I thought was the most interesting one, is the network switcher. So when they go to local programmes, how do they stop broadcasting the national one?
So when they say things like, and now it's time for the news in your area.
And there's someone in there. Now I think it's all done electronically, automatically.
In the old days, what do they have to do?
There's a whole switch here. It says network or opt.
That's
and
very
that'll
on or off, isn't it?
And that'll be you taking control of that local area's version of BBC One and doing
and do
things.
your local news.
And there's even a sign here for the transmitter.
Oh, yeah.
So you suddenly have control over those transmitters. It's very strange.
It's very exciting. And now, of course, the thing we're most excited about
is the radio bit.
And it used to be up here, it used to be BBC GMR, which is BBC Radio Manchester now. But there's a little mixing desk here. Look at this. This looks very familiar,
You ought to
doesn't
put
it?
this into our studio, see what happens.
Yeah, look at those faders. They're great.
And again, the principles now are exactly the same.
I bet that fader doesn't have a problem with its...
It's the stickiness.
No.
But it is, I mean, it's no different to what you get now. It just looks a bit different.
Yeah.
Recording, we were using a handheld recorder, which is...
the size of my hand, isn't it?
It's
This
tiny,
little recorder.
tiny in the quality, but you'd have to go out with one of these old tape-to-tape things, the Ewer machine.
Well, many years ago, I worked for the BBC for a while when I was at university. No, and I had to take out one of these. It's called a Ewer, and it's a tape-to-tape machine.
And then you'd edit it.
They're really heavy, and you'd bring it back, and you'd edit it on your Revox machine.
You'd use your razor blades.
And slice it, yeah.
And if you made a mistake, that was it.
You'd lost it forever. And there's a cart machine, the old-fashioned jingles machine.
And it's funny because the word cart
still
used.
called carts.
Yes, there's live singing and ballroom dancing going on the edge of Blackpool Pier.
What are we doing in Blackpool? It's windy.
It probably sounds like we're in a Force 10 gate. It's not actually that bad.
No, it's a Force 20. I can't believe you've actually won a Smurf from those grabbing machines.
Yeah.
And every time you're on those grabbing machines, you always seem to win something.
Well, there's more amusement arcades down there by the tower and on the other pier, and so I think we should try and win something else.
Yes.
A snake.
A snake. You know, it's the middle of August.
Yeah.
And there's a shop here on the pier.
Yeah.
And it's shut.
Yes.
Now my argument is, if you're shut in August on the pier, when the heck do you make your money? It's one of those ones that sells your favourite things. Sentiments.
Toadstool bunches.
Home is where the heart is.
Cry and despair.
So what's the plan with our Lancashire Ranger tickets today?
I don't know, go around there.
Yeah? Are we going to go along the rest of the pier and spend some money? Or
yeah, spend some time here in Blackpool and then we might go on somewhere else.
Okay.
Oh, there's a train. It's not a real train, it's a road train.
Yeah. Oh, listen to that. Those people on it are looking forlorn, solemn.
See, I can understand the train they have on South End Pier because it's about 2 miles long.
Yeah.
This really isn't, is it?
No, it's about a quarter of a mile long, if anything.
So at the end, there's ballroom dancing with live singing going on, and there was some people doing some dancing, and the rest of the people were looking miserable and sullen, really, weren't they?
My problem with piers, and it's not anything to do with Blackpool piers, all piers, I have a real unnecessary fear of falling through the gaps.
And how often has that actually happened?
It's never happened to my knowledge. But saying that, part of the railing had gone.
Can't.
Well, no, but if you get something out of your pocket, your telephone could fall through those slots.
Don't do it then.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for your concern. Right, I'm going to press on and spend some more 2p's.
Oh.
Nick Benjamin and Andy Waterfield.
So where are we now? We're in Lancaster.
Yeah, we got the train back out. That was a chaotic queuing experience.
It was.
We've done all that. And now we're in Lancaster. I don't think I've ever been here before. I've changed trains at Lancaster Station, but never bothered to walk around the town. And isn't it lovely?
It's a bit like, I know this is a bit funny saying it's a bit like somewhere because people may have not been there, but Cheltenham is of that style of Cheltenham with the nice stone buildings.
Stone buildings,
it's very nice. Well, of course, it's stone buildings because we're up in the Lake District, aren't we? And a lot of the buildings are very robust around here.
If you are listening in the home counties and you fancy to moving somewhere a bit cheaper,
yes, this is the place to come.
This is one of the many places you could find much cheaper living up here, and it's really quite nice, I have to say. No idea where we're going though.
No, we're just doing a little bit of a walk around.
The town centre. It's a bit late, so everything's closing.
There's nothing worse than that. That's the only thing. When we live down in the south, or we're living down in the south, everything's open till late.
Yeah.
Here, everything at 5 o'clock is shut.
Yeah, I see we've come across the sites of the bus station.
Yes.
but I think around here there's a priory and a castle and that sort of thing.
And, because it's a city, must have
the cathedral.
A cathedral as well, and that's all ahead of us. So we'll have a look at that shortly.
We'll go up there. And there's also a canal here as well.
Yeah, the Lancaster Canal goes through here,
And it's really nice. It's very hilly, though.
Yeah.
I've just seen this hill here.
Yes, which we won't go up. We'll cut through there, I think. Now, just to round off our Northwest special hour...
Yeah.
I thought a few insider tips. So I'll start off with the first one. If you're arriving into Manchester Piccadilly, there is a free hopper bus. and it goes round and round the city of Manchester. There's about 2 or 3 of them, completely free of charge. And so if your hotel is a little bit on the other side of town, jump on that for free.
Metrolink, I think. No, Metrolink's a tram, isn't it? Is it a Metro Shuttle? Metro Shuttle 1, 2 and 3, I think it is. The other one is go and visit the Museum of Science and Industry, because we went there just on the off chance, and it was actually really good.
And free of charge completely.
And it's completely free.
Unusual.
I can believe it.
That's worth a look, yeah.
Yeah, and the third one, I think, is if you are going to go for a few day trips in and around Manchester, invest in a tram ticket. Off-day tram ticket, use it as much as like anywhere on the tram network, £5.
Brilliant. And if you're travelling at the weekend, any time from Friday evening right through to Sunday for about £5.50, £6, isn't it?
Yeah, for the whole weekend. Not each day, the whole time. It's really good value.
So we're wrapping up things from Lancaster. Thank you for joining us today.
We're at the Priory now. We're going to have a look round.
This has been a Two Voices production.
Nick Benjamin and Andy Waterfield.